Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're exploring some truths about ourselves that might be a little quirky, funny, or even embarrassing. Join us as we share things we've never revealed before. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're going to explore some truths about ourselves that might be a little quirky, or funny, or maybe even embarrassing. And this episode is kind of taken on a life of its own, and I'm not really sure where it's going to end up. But before we get started, I want to say that Julie's gone this week, but Mindy and I are joined by a guest. Our friend and a former podcaster herself, Jennifer Smith, is here. And Jennifer, I have to say that this is a brave episode for you to join us. But before we dive into why that is, why don't you tell listeners a little bit about yourself?
Well, hey, thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I live in Nashville area with you, Marie. Mm-hmm. I have 3 children. Kate is a senior in high school. Penelope is a freshman in high school, and Thad is in 7th grade. I'm married to Nathan. We celebrated our 20th anniversary this year. I'm originally from Tampa. What else would you like to know?
Well, I think listeners will just be happy to know that you are smack dab in midlife. So you totally qualify to be on Midlife Matters.
It totally matters.
Okay, can I interject? Yeah. I'm so thrilled, Jennifer, you're here. Also, I'm not the youngest. I'm not with the youngest kids.
I thought you guys were the same age. Are you guys not the same age?
Okay. I
think you're younger than me, Mindy.
I don't know. I feel like our birthdays, I feel like we're about the same age. I just happen to get married.
I'll say my age, and you can tell me if I'm older. I'm 44.
Okay, I'm okay with that. All right, we'll be brave.
Okay, I'm 44.
You go first. Me too.
Oh, okay. See, you are the same age.
All right.
Okay. See, but I just got married so young and had kids so young.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, now I feel really old, and I want to be 44 too.
Oh, Marie.
Not old. You are
Marie, you make 50 look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
62-year-old I know.
Oh, there it is.
I've decided that the older I get, I'm going to start saying I'm actually older than I am so that people are impressed when they see me.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't that great? So if I say, I'm 57, people are like, wow, you look so good.
Jennifer.
That is a hack that people should use.
That's a good hack. It's a good hack.
And if our listeners cannot tell, they will know by the end of this episode why this is actually perfect for Jennifer to be on this episode.
I know. It really is.
Fun. Super
okay.
Fun.
Well, listeners, let me give you a little background on the topic selection for this episode. Because after almost 5 years of podcasting, the topic ideas don't come quite as easily as they used to. And I was kind of scrambling, as usual. And I went to where I usually go for an idea, Real Simple Magazine. And they had an article on, do you sit on a public toilet seat? And I immediately thought, I wonder if there's something here. And then I got to thinking about other questions I'd like to hear other people answer. And so I sent some internet questions to Mindy. Only being in the hurry that I was, I didn't really look at the questions all that closely. And she texted back and said she loved the idea. And Jennifer said she was all in. So imagine my surprise when I went to prepare last night and I discovered that these were truth or dare questions. And I hate that game.
Oh my goodness.
So I was immediately like, ugh, why did I send these questions? And why are there so many questions about people's bathroom habits?
Yes.
And there were a couple hundred questions, and I had said that we each only had to choose 5. And I was really having a hard time doing that. So, lesson learned for about the millionth time in my life, do not be so impulsive. Because I saw these questions, immediately hit send, and now I'm on a truth or dare game that I don't want to be on.
All right, Jennifer, are you feeling slighted at all? Because I think she just put us down. You and I both loved it.
I'm here for it.
Marie's like, they loved it? Why?
I know. But you can at least I didn't pick any dares. Maybe there's some way that Mindy and Jennifer are planning to do dares on Skype, but no, I didn't pick any dares. We're only doing truths, but I think you're going to find out some quirky and funny and possibly embarrassing things about us today. But because we had to choose 5, I'm taking the toilet seat as one of mine. So I will start it off.
Since that was the attention grabber.
Do you sit on a public toilet seat? And that would be au naturel, no toilet paper down or anything like that. Mindy.
I'm just going to be very honest and say that my logic is I've never heard anyone dying from sitting on the public toilet seat au naturel. So I do.
You do, Mindy? You never put toilet paper down?
100%. No. Now, I look at it,
yes,
but I haven't heard of any deaths. Okay. And I think that's my litmus test.
Now, I just have to ask background of your life. When you were a little girl and your mother took you to the bathroom, did she not put toilet paper on the seat all directions? Okay.
No.
Started young.
No. I'm very comfortable. Maybe that's why I could handle and all of their mess.
Okay.
Because I really don't get too wrapped up about it.
Okay. All right. Jennifer, do you sit on the toilet seat?
It's immune system building. I absolutely do not sit on a toilet seat. I mean, I can handle a lot of filth. Like some of these questions that I was going through, like how long have you gone without a shower? I could go multiple days, but that one is an absolute no. I will not sit on a public toilet seat. And I've taught my children, this is funny, I've taught my children not to do that either. Whether they do, because I'm not in there watching anymore. But I have asked my son, he does not sit on public toilet seats to do number 1 or number 2. He is a squatter. And that's kind of an Olympic feat, in my opinion,
that's
to squat
impressive.
for number 2. Yeah.
Well, I don't sit on the public toilet seat either. But someone who shall remain nameless because he doesn't like me to talk about him on the podcast, recently mentioned something about sitting on the toilet seat. And I thought, you do? I don't understand
and
this.
He travels.
Yes.
He has seen
and I thought to myself, I have known you 30 years and I have never once pictured you on a public toilet. I didn't picture anyone in my family in a public toilet seat. Like, I didn't think
Please
anyone
don't
in the
picture
whole
me there.
I didn't think anyone in the whole world ever sat on one. And he was just so nonchalant about it. And so I thought, well, maybe it's only a man thing. And then when I saw this article in a nationally syndicated magazine, I thought, there must be other people that sit on them. What's going on in the world?
It's Mindy. It's Mindy.
It's all me. It's all me. But you know what? I do shower every night.
Okay, well, that's
where we're
and
different.
I have that I know of to catch some sort of sickness or disease.
Well, you're showering off the public toilet seat off of you every day, so that's good.
I am.
Let me just say that in the article, and they actually used a local doctor, Vanderbilt doctor says that it's okay. Them. It's okay to sit on it is cleaner than like public railings and armrests on buses. So, Jennifer, apparently you're not going to die from doing it, but I just don't even know if I could make myself go if I was sitting there.
Yeah.
Dude, just settle in, man. Take your time. A lot of times, if you're at a public event, I'm so tired of people, I'm going to hide in there for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, at a public event, you know how many people have sat there before you?
That's okay. If you're in a clean space, I'm locked in. I'm like, hey, this is a good situation.
Shower later.
I really think this might need to be like a poll on our Instagram when we release this episode. We need to know, listeners, do you sit on public toilet seats? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Just let us know.
Okay.
All right. Well, Mindy, what was your first question? What was your first truth that you wanted to talk about?
You're going to love this. Okay. Ever peed in the pool? And I'm going last on this one.
Okay. So. I will just say no. And I know people will be like, you're lying. I cannot make myself go to the bathroom in the ocean or in the pool or in the shower or anywhere. I can't do it. If we're at the beach, I have to walk all the way back. And my kids can totally go in the ocean. Nothing will come out. Like there's a vice grip on my body. I can't make myself do it.
You have a very, very healthy pelvic floor. Good job.
Jennifer, how about you? Do you pee?
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%. I have a pool and I pee in my own pool if I need to.
You do?
Yes.
I mean, the chemicals, the guy comes every week and cleans my pool. That's probably disgusting, and probably anyone listening will never come back over to my pool. But here's the thing is, to be very honest, I don't get in my pool, so it's really not happening very often. But at the beach and the ocean, 100%.
Yeah.
Although, and I will say public pools, like if we go somewhere where there's a pool, I won't pee in that pool because I'm afraid of the blue dye theory that you've heard about. I'm like, they're going to know, but I don't have any problem with it. I'm just afraid people will find out. So I won't pee in other people's pool. I would pee in mine, but I don't swim in my pool, but I do pee in the ocean.
Okay. All right, Mindy, you're going to have to be the tiebreaker.
I love you so much right now, Jennifer. Okay, first of all, Jennifer grew up in Tampa. Okay, she's growing up at the ocean, and I do feel like I spent a lot of time going to the ocean as a child. And yeah, you at the beach. Yeah, like my parents were not going to walk me to the bathroom. They just weren't going to do it. So it was like you just do it.
Yeah.
Now public pools. Definitely when I was a kid. I mean, all the time. If I had my own pool, yes, I would. Because I feel the same way. I'm like, oh, yeah, the chemicals are going to get that. I would never pee in somebody else's pool.
All right. Okay, here's another layer. I don't really like public hot tubs, but I just want to know, in that small little hot space, are people peeing? Or would you two pee in a public hot tub?
Well, that feels smaller. That does feel smaller.
Okay.
It does.
I don't know if I've ever been confronted with that.
Okay.
Because I don't get a ton of hot tubs, but then that just feels more concentrated.
Okay. I'm
Ratios
so
are smaller.
You've heard my gross factors pretty high. I can tolerate a lot.
Okay.
There's something about hot tubs.
Okay.
That I just don't do.
Okay.
So I don't even get in them. I don't know.
Okay.
No,
all right.
Pee in them. Though, I mean, you'd never know. It's already hot in there. So.
Well, true. All right, Jennifer, what's the truth that you want to share?
Okay, Marie, I saw this question and I thought of you.
Really?
I did.
I'm afraid.
I did. And this might stir up some rage or emotions in people listening. Would you trade in your dog for $1 million?
Okay. I wanted to ask this question, but since you guys don't, well, first of all, I think I know what you guys would answer. Okay. I maybe I'm just a totally mercenary person, but for $1 million, yes, I would trade in my dog.
Okay. So would you do it for 100,000?
Yes.
Ooh, let's negotiate.
But I thought you would say, because you love
do love my
so
dog
much. I could have seen you saying absolutely not. So I'm surprised.
I mean, 100,000, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
She's too practical for this.
She's very frugal.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, now you guys have to answer. Mindy doesn't own a dog, so she would trade in her own dog for probably $10.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm a yes too. I've only had my dog 2 years, and he's still on the fine line.
Well,
1,000%.
What would be the threshold of money that you would trade him for?
Oh, that's a good question.
It
probably at this point is not that high.
Okay.
You'd pay somebody to take him? How about that?
I mean, I've got to consider what we are dishing out to keep him.
Yeah.
True.
And so, I mean, that's the thing is, would you pay this to keep your dog versus would you get this to give away your dog?
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like for $100,000 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that Frankie doesn't listen to this podcast because his feelings might be hurt.
Poor Frank.
Jennifer, what kind of dog do you have?
He's a Labradoodle, and we got him for the children, and we remind them of that regularly. But he's like 3/4 poodle, 1/4 lab, and so he's got that very tight ringlet curl, very poodle hair.
Mm-hmm.
So he's finally calmed down, though. The puppy stage was no fun. Marie was my constant puppy mentor.
Yeah.
Although her dog is perfect and has always been perfect.
I don't know if I was a mentor. I just said, keep on holding on. I hear they're better around age 2.
Yes. And they are.
Wow.
They definitely are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I feel like this is kind of, this is going to be like maybe the last water related question, listeners. This just happens to be the second one on my list, but what is one thing only a couple people know about you? So if I asked you, Mindy, after knowing me for so many years, do I like baths, Mindy?
I would say
have
no.
we never talked about this on the podcast? Maybe we
I would
haven't.
say no. I can't see you enjoying that.
All my friends and all my family members for sure have never known me to like baths. I hate baths. They're cold. Whenever anyone says, "Oh, I can't wait to get home and take a bath," I'm thinking, "Oh, why would you even like that?" I don't like baths. Well, for some reason, this summer, I started enjoying taking a bath, only I didn't tell anyone. I would just kind of sneak a bath. And then Steve and I were walking the other night, and I can't remember how baths came up. Oh, I think I was saying like, hey, why don't you use one of the other showers in the house? Because I feel like we should try them all out and like periodically use them. And he goes, well, how about the bathtub? And I said, oh, no, I've already used that. And he goes, you have? He goes, you hate baths. I said, well, actually, I have been enjoying a bath, but I didn't want to tell anyone and get a bunch of Marie likes baths comments. So I just kept it to myself. Jennifer, why do you look so stunned?
Finally, I know
that's
she's speechless
to me. I'm processing that. Well, and you also said that baths are cold, and so I think I'm processing why are your baths cold?
Yeah.
Mine are scalding hot. And I think it's so interesting that you started your bath habit in the summer, which is where I feel like I do less because I feel like baths are a winter activity. I think I'm processing why are Marie's baths
She's
cold
like,
in the summer?
Well, it feels like the bathroom itself is cold, like once the heat. And so then I never liked that feeling. Yeah. So I guess I didn't mind it so much in the summer. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, keep taking them. I love baths.
A new fact about me, listeners. I secretly enjoy a bath, and now everyone knows. But please, no one buy me any bath bombs. I don't want any bath-related gifts.
No, those ingredients have to be very organic, and before you're putting that stuff down there.
Yeah.
True. Well, I mean, you just must have margin in your life. Like, I know the amount of people that would have been knocking on your bathroom door when they were at home or, you know what I mean? Like, you actually can go in there and maybe relax.
That's true, because now there isn't always someone home. So, yes, maybe that's why I enjoy a bath now more, too, because no one knocks on the door.
Yes.
Wow. How about you, Jennifer?
I don't know. I'm racking my brain. That's probably why I was sitting there staring at you, because I'm like, what is something nobody knows about me? I have no idea. I have literally nothing.
Because she's an open book.
I am an open book. Like, I really kind of tell all. I did have this funny instance yesterday. I was in American Eagle with my daughter, and she was in the dressing room trying things on. And they have these numbers on the door. It was like number 3. And I like tapped on the door with my fingernail and scraped a part of the 3 off. And I had this thought came to me of, I just scraped that 3 off and no one knows I did it. And no one will ever know I did it. And every time I come back here, I can look at that missing piece of black on the 3 and know I did that. And no one knows. I mean, that's a terrible example to the answer of your question. But I did have that random thought of I just did something that if I never told anybody, no one will ever know. But now y'all all know. But I don't know anything.
It sounds like you might have a hidden like graffiti artist in yourself.
Maybe. Or destructive. Yes. Yeah. Oh, and here's a funny story similar to that. A good friend of mine from high school was diagnosed with breast cancer several months ago. And she has been putting on her Insta stories, like all the different, aspects of the journey and the whole thing. And she's just young at heart. She's so funny. She's hilarious. And she, in her chemo treatments and being at the hospital a lot, she has been putting googly eyes all over the hospital. On like if something says, hematology on the wall, she'll put googly eyes on the O. Or if there's a poster of like a patient advertising, she'll put googly eyes. And she's putting them literally everywhere. And she's been posting about it. Well, last week she posted that she got caught and like an administrator in the building pulled her into his office and she kind of got reprimanded. And, it just was this whole thing. But I thought, oh, how fun, because she's doing this thing that nobody knew, but apparently all the cameras were picking it up. So now they all know.
She's defacing all of the hospital signs.
She was.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, Mindy, you're on the hot seat. What do people not know about you?
Okay. Well, that googly eye story, that is really cool. And it's funny because my husband is a hospital administrator. And I feel like he would say, hey, that's so cool, but please don't do that.
Please don't. Well, that's what he kind of was like that. I mean, he basically said people have asked if there are security cameras in those googly eyes. And so it's become security risk.
It was creeping some people out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be a place for everyone.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. Something that I feel like Jennifer, I think I would say I'm an open book. And in fact, you guys know this. I actually just came from a funeral, and standing in line at the funeral, this was a good situation. It really was a celebration of life. And so this was a guy that was really strategic in changing the course of Bryce and my life, our marriage, our career. This man that we were celebrating his life was just instrumental in our newlywed years. And so standing in line, again, this is a good situation, but I start talking to the older woman behind me. We end up talking about everything, like absolutely, like so many things. And then she said, I'm really into literacy. And she said, all my life, I just feel like everybody is a story. Everybody is a book. Like that's when I meet someone, I think I'm reading a new book. And she said, I just feel like I read your whole book. And I was like, I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
Well, I guess that proves that you're an open book.
I was like, thank you, I think. So as for things that people don't know about me, honestly, it just depends on who I talk to.
Okay.
That's true.
Get in line behind Mindy and you will soon know all there is to know.
Well, now that everybody knows you sit on public toilets, I think there's nothing left.
That was new information.
That doesn't come up in conversation.
You know what's so funny about this? I've never admitted to that. And it is embarrassing for me to admit it because I feel like it immediately makes me look gross, even though I feel like but what's funny about it is that I do teach fitness classes. And I cannot tell you how many women have come to me that have taken my classes for a period of time and said, hey, now I know why we do all that lower body work, because I'm able to squat comfortably at any sporting event or any concert. And I'm like, hey, great job.
You don't have to.
That's where the conversation ends. I do not then volunteer your secrets.
Save yourself. All right.
Oh. All right. Jennifer, what's a truth you want to share?
Okay, so my next question is, what app on your phone do you waste the most time on? I mean, I think we all could probably say social medias could be a time suck, but for me, it's probably two. I love scrolling Anthropologie's app and just looking at all their new clothes because it's my favorite store. But I also love this app called Cool Sudoku. Because
really?
I love Sudoku. I do.
That's a new fact I didn't know.
Oh, there you go. I do. And they have several like different types of Sudoku games. And there's two that I play just about every day. It's the regular Sudoku and the Sudoku X. And I get really excited when it's the diabolical level. That's the level of the day.
Oh, that's interesting.
Fun, Jennifer.
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of boring. I would probably say Facebook. And right now I would say specifically Marketplace, because having moved, I'm trying to replace things. And I'm like checking Marketplace I probably have a list of 10 things that I'm looking for. And I'm always refreshing and seeing, is there anything out there? And then trying to hurry to actually get the good thing. So I probably waste time on that.
Yeah, that's great. And that would be competitive.
Yeah.
You guys are in a competitive market.
Right.
Wow. Okay. I'm actually going to say I love, aside from social medias, I love my realtor app because I absolutely love checking out like what land is for sale, what house is for sale. I like keeping a pulse on the market. It's maybe because I've moved so much, but I actually genuinely have an interest in, well, what's the market doing? And what's out there and what's it selling for? And you'll find like certain trends in houses in your area and things like that. And so that is fascinating to me. And as a mindless activity, it doesn't cause stress. And so I love looking at my realtor app. And in different places. I will go across the pond and I will go into other countries and
really,
I will
Mindy?
Yes, I love looking at real estate. It is so fun. It is so fun.
Oh, I've never heard of
You're
anyone
on your way to
doing that.
being a realtor.
I was going to say, yeah.
Maybe
there.
one day.
Okay.
Maybe one day. Yeah, you might be right.
Right. Do you have another truth, Mindy?
I do.
Okay.
And this is actually really funny.
Okay.
All right. So this truth, have you ever waved at someone thinking they saw you when really they didn't? What did you do when you realized it? I laugh at myself.
I've done it a lot. I'm always, you kind of bring your hand back down like, oh, I wasn't waving.
Yeah, I used to try to play it off, but I think I just recognize I am a dork. And I'm okay with it now, like in a way I never was before.
Okay.
So I'm comfortable in my dorkness, and I'll just laugh, and I'll see if anybody like sees what happened, then we just make fun of me together.
Okay. Yes.
Or I'll go meet the person.
Make a new friend.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a truth that I'm going to share because enough time has passed that I think it's okay. All right. So what is something you've done that could have gotten you in serious trouble? And I'd kind of forgotten I had done this, but I was talking with Jennifer and another woman a couple months ago, and I mentioned that I had done this, and they were like, oh my goodness, you could have gotten in so much trouble for that. And I guess I hadn't really thought of it because even now my stomach is kind of clenching thinking of the trouble I could have gotten. But at the time, I didn't think I would get in trouble. So we had moved. I was going to be a senior in high school, and my parents moved. And they moved out of the house, I think, before I really had a chance to gather all my things. And I had hidden something in an attic space that was only accessible through the back of my closet. And I decided that I was really regretful about that thing that I left behind, which I will leave nameless. And so one day I thought, I know where the spare key is. And this was before Ring doorbells. This was before people knew anything. You felt kind of anonymous in the world. So I walked over to the house and I knocked on the door and nobody came to the door. So to me, in my high school mind, no one's home. So I go to the side door. There was a little breezeway next to the side door. And in it, my dad had a nail in the wall and a key hung on it. And I looked and the key was still there. So I took the key and went into the house, walked all through the house, looking at how they had changed things, up to my bedroom, into the back of the closet, into the attic space, got what I needed, went all back through, locked the door, put the key back, and never spoke of it again.
So awesome. Great.
And when my parents hear this, if they listen to this episode, they'll be like, oh my goodness. First of all, maybe they would have gotten in trouble. I don't know, but I for sure would have gotten in trouble. Like, would that be considered breaking and entering? I'm not sure.
Yes, it is. I think they would have given you grace, but yes, it is.
Even with a key, Marie, that is not your house.
I know. And so this was like 1989 or 90, before the time of cameras knowing our every move. You could be so much more anonymous in the world and no one would ever know.
And if your parents do listen and hear this story, they're going to want to know what you were going in that house to get.
Enough time has passed.
Do we save that for the next truth or dare question?
Yeah. I know. So anyways, but I never had really thought about it until a couple months ago. And then when I saw that truth on the list, what have you ever done where you could have gotten in a lot of trouble? I thought, well, I could have gotten in a lot of trouble for doing that.
Oh, great.
Oh my goodness. You survived.
Yes. All right. So what could you guys have gotten in a lot of trouble for? Do you have anything to share?
Well, I'll piggyback off of you, Marie, because it's before I even knew you were going to share that story. What I was thinking popped in my mind. And when we've been in our house about, a decade or so. And when we were looking for houses, this house popped up in our area, and it was on kind of more of a major road. It was on like 8 acres. It was tucked way back. And I was with a friend and I was like, oh, you see that house? It's for sale. And she's like, well, let's just pull down the driveway. Nobody's living there. We hope. And so we pulled down the driveway, which kind of went deep into the property. And then there's this enormous house. I think it was 10,000 square feet, but it was in absolute disrepair. So it was really, really cheap at the time. Nobody lived there. It was just, it was in complete disrepair, but we walked around and kind of looked, and she looked under the mat and there was a key. And she's like, there's a key. I wonder if it works. And so it did. So we went in, and I mean, that was probably fine, but I would go back and like visit more often.
You did, Jennifer?
I did. I went multiple times to just kind of like, I mean, this house was incredible, and it was so cheap because it needed so much work. But I mean, my husband and I would go, we would just kind of talk and dialogue and what could we do at the place. So that probably could have gotten us in a lot of trouble had we
I mean, obviously before Ring doorbells, people
right.
felt more free.
Clearly, you can't get away with any of that. You can't even get away with an honest conversation standing outside someone's front door anymore. You got to know, eyes are on me. Just talk about how pretty their wreath is.
Yes.
All right, Mindy, what have you done?
Whoa. Okay, I haven't done that.
Okay.
But that's a good idea. I'm going to start looking for keys now. As I look for houses on my realtor. Oh my gosh. I think the one thing that I think of is really just what a terrible driver I used to be. Mm-hmm. And I would always be so late trying to get to high school. And my parents live on this dangerous road. They still live there. I would pass people on curbs and on bridges, and I'd be going like 80 miles an hour down that road. And I don't know how I didn't die or hit somebody or whatever. But I've always been a fearless driver. Yeah. And so it's funny. The boys make fun of me. They tell me I look like a grandma because I have I'm working on my posture, in my minivan. So
and now you have to set an example.
Yes. But secretly, I would love to be a race car driver. Oh. I really, really love to go fast. And one day, maybe that's why I have a minivan still. Yeah. This dangerous situation for me.
If you ever get to upgrade, you might get a lot of speeding tickets.
I might have a heavy. No, I'm under the radar. No looks at you in a minivan. I could get away with really anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's so funny.
I'll be the getaway car if you guys ever want to check out some houses together.
We're good at breaking and entering.
Yeah. And I think the only reason we could start to share these things is because our kids are getting older. Because if they're a certain age, you think, well, I don't want to put any ideas in their heads. So kids, if you're listening, this is not an idea for you. And these were different times. Cameras are on you. Even driving, cameras are on you.
Yes.
There was no Life 360 that my mom was watching.
No. No. All right, Mindy, do you have a truth you want to share?
Okay. Do you have any silly nicknames? Okay. I have two that immediately three that immediately come to mind. I'll start at my youngest age. My maiden name is Lowe, Lowe. My dad always joked with people that they considered naming me Marcia Mel.
Marcia Mel? How come?
Oh, Marshmallow. Thank you. Yes. I was like, I know you're going to get there. So that was a funny when I was little we almost named her Marcia Mel. So yeah, Marshmallow. And then let's see, all of my friends called me Minnie Mouse when I was younger in grade school. Okay. So then a funny story about when all four kids were little at home, Marie and I have commiserated over the summers, sometimes being very long and trying. Yeah. And so a thing that I came up with when the kids were all at home and younger was stop calling me mom. I mean, it was like, if you say mom one more time, I'm just going to poke my eyes out. And so I said, okay, every day over the summer, you're going to take turns picking out a nickname for me. I have to approve it because of this one that ended up sticking. Oh. So most of the time I was something like Batgirl, something like that. Cause that's,
you were a
superhero. Barbie. I was like, okay, I'll be Barbie. Yes, that's okay. That's okay. Batgirl, yeah, that's okay. So all day long, I wouldn't answer to mom. I would ignore them and they, oh yeah, Batgirl. And it just became this fun thing.
That's so cute.
So it really helped us all survive.
What was the one that stuck?
The one that stuck and they still talk about, and they will sometimes say it, is Psycho Scooter.
What? Was that an approved one?
Psycho Scooter. This is where the veto rule came into play, was because of Psycho Scooter. Well, the kids all, and I think they loved my reaction of shock more. I was like, no, you can't call me that. Oh, Psycho Scooter. That's what we're going to call her. Well, to this day, every once in a while, Psycho Scooter comes out. I don't know where that came from.
So cute. That's so cute.
Oh.
All right. How about y'all? Any silly
my
nicknames?
girls in high school came up with this nickname that drives me nuts because it's not a flattering nickname. It's terrible. And they would always say it, like if they were in their group of friends and they were going to call me, they'd call me this, or they would call me this to their friends, or now sometimes they'll still call me that to get under my skin. Mooch.
Oh,
I hate that. And I don't know. I said, stop calling me that. I don't like that. I'm not going to answer to that. If you call me that, nothing worked. Like they still sometimes call me that and I don't like it.
That's so cute.
your reaction is bringing them so much joy.
Oh, I know.
That's why they keep doing it.
I know. How about you, Jennifer?
I mean, I don't think I have any nicknames, though I should, because of Jennifer and Smith being my names. But I mean, growing up, a lot of people called me by my last name, my maiden name now. In high school, I'm fair skinned. I think I was fairer in high school growing up. I had lighter skin even then, but people called me Casper, which, that was super fun because I was so pale.
Lovely.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think I have any nicknames. I should have some.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Well, you also have a name that lends itself to nicknames. Like there's a lot of different variations of your name. Right. And so maybe people don't feel like they need to shorten it or come up with something because there's already a lot of different nicknames for Jennifer.
Right. Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
All right, Jennifer, what's a truth you want to share?
Okay. Well, you sparked this in my head, Mindy, and maybe this is the answer. You've already answered this question, but what is your dream career? And not just like the realistic, I might actually go for this one day, but like the dream. The dream. Is it a race car driver? I'll go first if y'all need some time to think.
Yeah, come on. Let's hear it.
So I think I've always said this when answering this question, and I do mean it. It is the dream. I mean, I grew up, I was a dancer growing up, and I think my dream is to be a backup dancer for someone like Justin Timberlake or, I mean, anybody. I would take any job that was handed to me, but I don't need to be the person out on the front. I just want to be a part of an amazing show.
Oh,
dancing in it.
Yeah. And that sounds really fun.
Oh, it would. When I have been to Justin Timberlake's concerts, I'm like, I would give anything. I would give my dog Frankie to be down on that stage doing that.
Wow. I can actually somewhat relate with that, like very, very, very much.
Okay.
I really feel like you would be a better dancer. So like wherever you're at in the back, I would be behind you. But that sounds amazing. I've always joked about I would be somebody's backup dancer. Like that's my go-to. That's so funny. That's like my go-to line is I can't sing, but I'll be your backup dancer.
There you go. All right, we're doing it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I had no idea. I want to come to Nashville, or I'm putting this plug in here. Okay. On another podcast, Marie talked about like taking country line dancing lessons, something downtown. Yes. When I come to Nashville, I want to do that. I want to go dancing.
Yes. And the Wild Horse is going to be closing, I think, later this year or maybe early next year. It's going to become a different thing. And so there's not much time left, Mindy.
Okay, come on. And I'm coming.
Okay, yes, I'm saying that. We need to do this.
Oh, this kind of question is hard for me because I always want to be everything. Like, and you could make any career just about sound. Like if you said, like if I hear about a writer, I think, I want to be a writer. If I hear about an artist, I think, I want to be an artist. If I hear about a doctor, I think, I want to do that. Or I want to be a backup dancer. Like, I feel like everything has the potential and I could never just pick like, well, what would be the dream? The dream would be you could just flit around. You could just wake up every day and be something different.
Do something different.
You had unlimited funds and, you could just try on a bunch of different hats because there's so many things that would be fun for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
That's really cool, Marie. Yeah. You could do it all too. I believe that. I believe that about you.
I don't know, but it'd sure be fun trying. It'd be a lot of fun. All right. Let's all share one more truth. Have you ever had lice? I saw this question and I thought, ooh, and it's funny because I have had lice. And when I was in high school, my sister got lice and she was 5 years younger than me. And we shared a room and even a hairbrush. And my mom worked. And so the office called me down and said, you need to take your sister home because she can't be here anymore. And I called my mom and she's like, Marie, can you go home and get started on delousing the place, like vacuuming and, all the things. So I took my sister home and had to get the shampoos and all that. And I thought, darn, I'm sure I'm going to have lice. And I didn't turn out to have lice. I think because at that period of time in your life, you are blow drying the heck out of your hair every morning. And that was like the 80s perms and like the curling irons. And there probably just wasn't anything left in my hair for lice to feed on. I don't know. So I did not get lice. Fast forward to when my girls are in third grade. And I had been so careful about lice all through my kids, like in kindergarten, in all the early elementary schools, I'd be hairspraying Abigail's hair after I put a ponytail in because they say that repels lice and always real careful. Well, I had lice for, I think, a few weeks because after I found out I had it, I started remembering the times that I had been at workout class, like doing sit-ups and my back of my head was kind of itching on the mat and different times when I'd been reading the girls a book and my head was itching. So I can't remember how I found out they had lice. I don't remember if we got a note from the school or if I was brushing Lydia's hair and found one. But Lydia and Lauren both had lice. And then I had lice too. And I had to rely on Steve to do the knit comb. And that was not working out. So I had to have Abigail come home and do it. And then I was in absolute panic about it. And, luckily doing the shampoo. And then I think you retreat 10 days later. We did get rid of lice in the house and the boys never had it. And Abigail didn't live at home anymore. So her hair would have probably been a mess too to have it. But so I ended up getting lice as an adult. Never had it as a kid. So anyways.
That is awful.
I know. So what about you guys? Have you ever had lice?
I have a lot of lice experience. We have a friend with multiple girls. A good friend, and all the girls had gotten lice. She had gotten lice. I've picked nits out of all of their heads, out of my girls' hair. And one of my daughters got lice once. And, I was like freaking out, like, do I have lice? And of course, when you hear about it, you immediately start itching. And my husband checked my head. He's like, no, you're good. And I leaned forward in the mirror and there were 2 nits right on my top of my forehead. I'm like, how are you not seeing this? But I do think those were the only 2 because I never really found any more. But I will say those knit combs are worthless. Yeah. Those do nothing. But what I have learned is, and I know there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. But I have heard hiring out to those companies that will come and delouse you are well worth the money. And then one tactic that I had used with the girls when I was taking the lice out of their hair is, just going section by section and removing them. And you got to kind of use your fingernail to really get them. Yeah. But a trick we kind of figured out was we would check the section and then we would flat iron the section. And if we heard a little snap, there was still one there and we had killed it, but we knew to go back and to get that one. It's the craziest thing, but the flat iron, you hear like a little tiny pop and there, we missed one. There's still one in there.
Oh my gosh.
It's so gross.
Nothing marks you like lice.
It's trauma.
It is traumatizing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I have lice experience in my home. Already feel itchy just talking about it, but I have never personally had lice, and so it Yeah. When you have a girl that has lots of hair,
And
that
blonde.
is the color of the.
Yes.
I was in tears.
Yes.
Like, it is just like nothing brings you to tears like that. Like you feel so invaded.
Yeah.
And Abby didn't get it till she was like in middle school. Like it was late middle school years. I was like, what? I mean, we made it through elementary school.
Yeah.
What happened? Oh man. Oh, it was awful. It was awful. And I just think of, it's awful.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the truth about us. We all have lice or lice experience. Apparently, I'm the only one of the three that have actually had lice, but
had it as an adult.
I know.
Oh, that's awful.
And you can't rely on your husband to
No.
get it out.
No.
No.
All right. What is your last truth, Mindy?
Well, this is actually pretty easy. Obviously, I've been married for 26 and a half years, but would you date someone shorter than you?
And I saw that question.
No. And in fact, my husband, okay list, is I could be with him and wear the tall I wanted to and still be shorter. That was my test. I would be friends with guys that were my height or shorter. Never would I dated someone that could not wear heels with and comfortable.
How tall are you, Mindy?
5'9.5".
Okay. Yeah.
It cut out a lot of the population.
Yeah. I'm 5'8", so not 5'9.5", but I am 5'8", and I was always tall growing up, and I didn't want to date people that were shorter than me. You already are so self-conscious at that age. It makes you feel like a giant if you're with somebody shorter than you. So, yeah.
I have absolutely no ability to relate at all. I'm 5'3", and so pretty much all the options.
You're 5'3"?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, I'm short. I'm very short.
Well, I mean, shorter than I thought.
Yes. Well, I have a large presence, I suppose. But yeah, I'm 5'3", so I mean, usually all the options were open to me. But I kind of felt like, I kind of feel like I want to wear really, and since I'm 5'3", I can go as high stiletto as I want.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell my girls who are even shorter than I am. You can wear the highest heels you want and probably still not be as tall as who you date. So there's a gift and a blessing in that. But I feel like for me, I'd have to say no, simply because that would mean he'd be 5'2" or smaller. And not that that's bad. That's not
right.
But I married, my husband is your height, Mindy, and and he's half Asian. So the genes are stacked against our children. So they're all going to be very short, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, no, there isn't. There isn't. Yeah.
That is so cool. And I love it. And my daughter she's 5'4". And that was the first thing.
That's crazy.
When we realized like she was done growing, I was like, Abby, you coolest, most outrageous shoes and get away with it anywhere.
Yes. Yes, she can.
Oh, that's funny. All right, Jennifer, what's your last truth?
Okay, mine will be easy. It's just a short answer. If you could choose to never sweat for the rest of your life or never have to use the bathroom, which would you choose?
Hands down the bathroom for me.
Really?
Because I really don't sweat that much.
Okay.
I'm never
fair.
like my girls, they would like carry deodorant in their purse.
Yes.
I just never have that need.
So do mine. What is that?
I don't know. Yeah. So that's easy for me, but do some people pick never sweat?
I'm sure that's my answer.
Really?
I would pick never sweat. Yes, because I stopped, I like lots of people stopped using the deodorant with the aluminum and all the things, and your options are crap. They don't help. And so you don't maybe smell, but you are still just sweaty. And I don't know. And I don't like that feeling.
Okay.
And I feel like my pits are stained in some of my clothes, just from the sweating, even though it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I would pick
yeah.
never sweat. I don't
Okay.
mind going to the bathroom.
Mindy, what about you?
Definitely not using the bathroom. I feel better when I sweat. So I like it when because I'm like, okay, get all the bad toxins out. I mean, I just feel better.
That could also apply to going to the bathroom.
I was just thinking that. We want to get those bad toxins out the other end,
But you know what? You can go on a long road trip and stay in the car and not lose time by stopping to go to the bathroom. You can drive as fast as you want
and never have to stop.
Listen. It would keep me from sitting on public toilet seats.
Oh,
it would.
Yeah.
Game changer.
But listen, that's working for you.
Think of all the time that you could save by not going to the bathroom.
No, I know. I agree.
Also, that would mean that I don't have to clean bathrooms. And I would totally sign up for that.
If you're not using them, why should you be cleaning them, really?
Hello? Yeah.
All right. Well, these are fun. Listeners, we will put some polls up on our Instagram, definitely about the public toilet seats, maybe a couple other questions that we asked today. Come and find us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast, or you can email us your truths at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But before we go, we want to do I'm a Fan. All right, Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
Something very simple, actually. So I'm at Chick-fil-A all the time because 3 of my sons work there. And my new favorite side, it's not necessarily new, but it's new to me, is the kale crunch salad. It is my favorite side that they have. And they give you these little almonds that you can sprinkle on top, and they are just perfect to like balance out the little side salad. It's actually something that probably when we're done, I'm going to go get one. So,
and do you get a good discount with so many people working at Chick-fil-A?
No, Marie, but do you know what? I do get a lot of free food because I spend a lot of money there. So if you get their app, I'm earning a lot of rewards.
Okay. You're keeping them in business.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We should probably just pay our sons instead of them working there. We would probably make money.
Did you know, this is interesting, speaking of the kale salad, did you know that before kale got like popular and everybody was eating it, the largest supplier of kale, do you know who it was?
Like a country or
No, a business.
Oh, I really don't. Dole?
Before it got big.
Before it got like healthy and everybody was eating it. No, it was Pizza Hut for their salad bar because they used it as decoration all over their salad bar.
Are you serious?
You remember that?
I do
vaguely remember that now.
I read that recently and I was like, well, the irony of that.
We're eating the decor.
Yes. And calling it healthy.
Oh, that's
that's really cool.
I know.
All right, Jennifer, what are you a fan of this week?
All right. So mine it's a tool and I got them on Amazon. And so I like puffy eyes, if you wake up with puffy eyes, I have used the hack of like dipping my spoons in like ice water and, holding it under my eyes. And then you have to keep refreshing the coldness. Well, I used a Groupon, found this on Groupon and got a gua sha facial. I don't know if you've heard of that, but the gua sha is like those pieces of jade that they rub on your face and I don't know. I probably would not do it again. But she used this thing on my face called ice globes. I don't know if you've heard of them, but I'm going to show y'all a picture here. I don't know if you can see them. Nope. My Skype doesn't work, but they look kind of inappropriate. So I'm glad the bag says ice globes for facial on the outside. There are these like, they have a handle and then it's like it's a metal ball on the end and you have 2 of them and you leave them in your freezer. I know you're imagining it, but you leave them in the freezer and they are so ice cold. It almost takes your breath away, but it feels amazing. And you literally feel like you're depuffing your face instantly. I am obsessed. And my husband and I went out of town a couple of weeks ago and I packed them and brought them with me because I knew we'd have a fridge in our hotel room. And when we got to the hotel, I had put it in my checked bag because we did check a bag. that bag had been ransacked.
No.
And I'm convinced it's because they were looking for those things. They're trying to figure out, what are these things?
Are they a weapon or what?
A weapon or like, something interesting. So they are amazing for your face.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to put a link to those in our show notes.
Ice globes for your face. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's neat. Well, that's a new one. That's definitely a new one.
I love I love face products and beauty products, and I'm not at all consistent with them, but I still love them, and I'm always interested in learning more. So, that's my new fun thing.
Okay. All right. Well, I am a fan of a show, and Julie and I joke, and Mindy, you too, like we are always like a decade behind. And it turns out this show came out in 2011, so I'm actually more than a decade behind. But I started watching Suits. So the one with Meghan Markle,
with the princess.
Yes.
I don't know her official name.
Anyways, Steve and I both are watching it, and we both like it. It's set in a fictional New York City law firm, and it follows Mike Ross, who uses his photographic memory to talk his way into a job as an attorney. And it's just the different cases that he's involved in, and it's got, some love interest. Now, Suits, I think, is like 7 seasons. If I waited till I was all done with 7 seasons to recommend or no, you'd never hear from me. I mean, we are on season 1, but so far we are enjoying season 1. So take that for what it is. It could go off the rails later if you've seen it and you're like, I can't believe she likes that. I don't know. I'm not there yet. But we partially started watching it just because I rarely read celebrity gossip, but for some reason, gossip about the royal family interests me. And so I read some gossip about Meghan, and then I get that view. And then I also have the view of the next Netflix viewers. And so they're totally opposite views. And so I thought, half the reason I want to watch this show is just, can you get any clues to how she ended up and how she is today in 2023? You can't,
sure.
But it's still interesting to watch. And you can also see how her face changed too. So that's one thing to watch for.
How her face changed?
I think she's had some changes,
Okay.
But anyways, well, I read that in the celebrity gossip. Could or could not be true. I don't know.
Well, you have good TV recommendations. You got us watching The Middle, which was so much fun to watch as a family. So I trust your recommendations.
Yes. So if you just want something, and then it turns out I was talking with Julie and she said, we've been watching a show. And I said, what is it? She goes, Suits, kind of apologetically. And I said, I've been watching that too. I said, you should talk about it on the podcast. She goes, I don't know. I'm always so far behind everybody else and stuff. But Julie is secretly watching Suits too.
That is so
great.
funny. That is a show that we have enjoyed very much. It's so intelligent.
You watch it too, Mindy?
Well, we watched it through probably 4.5.
Okay.
It's about where we finally kind of called it. I don't know. We never finished it.
Okay.
I can't quite remember why, but very much enjoy watching it. The language can get to be a little bit much sometimes.
Okay.
But the intelligent banter that happens in it, it's so fun.
Oh my goodness, there's this one lawyer on there that we laugh so hard at. It's just a funny show. So
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, all right. Well, take it for what it is. And listeners, if you've watched it, let us know. But Jennifer, thank you for coming on today.
You're welcome.
Listeners, give her a hand.
So
Who
fun.
else would be willing to share these truths with total strangers?
Well, thanks for
I
having
love
me.
it.
I had so much fun.
Yes. All right. Mindy, we'll talk with you next week.
This was fun. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Yes, thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
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 We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.